good to go, guys. Alright, welcome back. Today, we're going to be going through the Tor web browser. If you guys don't know what Tor web browser is, I'm going to actually go into detail of it, right? So, I want you to think of the internet as an iceberg, right? So, this is my analogy. So, the internet that you're used to using, right, on your cell phone, on your computer, on your tablet, on your school computer, is the open internet, right? So there's a system set up where big tech companies and whether it's Google, Yahoo, etc., they all get together and make this system, which is known as the internet, to work the way it does, right? Behind that, there's this thing called the dark web, and I'm actually gonna explain it right here. I'm actually gonna ask Grok AI to give us an explanation of what the onion router is, aka Tor, right? So, what is the onion router? So, as you can see here, the onion router, commonly known as Tor, is a free open source software network designed to enable anonymous communication over the internet. It protects users' privacy by routing their internet through traffic of series of volunteer operated servers called nodes or relays around the world. This process encrypts the data multiple times, peeling away layers of encryption at each node, much like the layers of an onion, hence the name. So I'm actually going to let you guys Google this and know more about it. So pretty much, if you don't know, our internet service providers, they log everything we do, right? If it's not encrypted, they have they log everything we use. That's just the way it is. It's just something the government set up. Where I believe it was called the Patriot Act, where our internet activity is logged in, what websites we visited, etc., etc. Maybe not exactly the data itself because it's encrypted, but at least the communication of the server, right? And what keeps the internet safe for all of us is the fact that data is encrypted, and that's its own, video. But what the onion router does is that it communicates with a proxy or relay or a node, as it said here. It encrypts that communication, and that node communicates with another proxy, and then it encrypts that data, and then that node communicates with the third one, and then it's just like this series of encryption that makes it super hard for the internet service provider to know what you're visiting, what website you're visiting, etc., right? And the reason for this is because these private nodes or proxies don't hand out information to the government. They know what you're visiting, the nodes themselves, but they set up a system where everything is anonymous. Everything that you're doing is anonymous, and they're not going to turn in anything. They're just going to keep it to themselves. In fact, they emphasize this, right? So that's why the Tor is such a big thing. And I'm going to show you how to install it and how to run it on your computer, right? Here, as you can see, I'm using Kali Linux. And if I'm not mistaken, let's see if I could pop out the installation commands. Or maybe if it's here. I'll ask Grok. How can I install the Tor browser on my Kali Linux machine? By the way, you can also install this on Windows. You can install it on the Android. I'm not sure on Apple. I don't really use Apple. It's not that I hate it. I just don't use it. So I wouldn't be able to tell you. So I know you can install it on these other systems, right? So specifically, I'm learning how to install it on this one because this is the system that I'm using to install it on, right? Let's see. Come on. What the heck? Looks like it froze up. See if it works. I don't know. It's acting like a drama queen. Let's do this. Duck, duck, go. How to install the Tor browser. Let's see. We're going to visit the official website here. As you can see here, right? I guess you can install it on the operating system Mac OS, which is the desktop version, not the iPhone versions of it. And then you can see here, you got the Windows, you got the Linux, and you got the Android, right? So for us, let's do the Linux. So as you can see here, you can actually save it. But what I ended up doing is actually installed it through the command line. Let's see if I can get that, or I can show how to do that command. Come on. How to install the web browser. Let's see, command line. Web browser command line. Let's see if that pops up. There's some videos on it on YouTube as well, but I want to show my version of it. Let's see. Let's try the Kali Linux. This is actually perfect. This is it right here. So these are the commands that you're going to use, right? So as you can see, sudo apt update, which I already did. And by the way, to run the browser itself, you can do it in sudo mode. So you're actually gonna have to exit that, right? So I'm actually the root user right now. So I'm gonna exit. As you can see, I already installed it, but I'm gonna copy this command anyway. I already did the update as well, so I would recommend you 100% use this one first. I already did that. Actually, this program is actually installed on my computer, but I'm just showing you guys again. So copy, paste, boom. It's already installed. That's not necessary again. It already installed it. So now I'm gonna run it. As you can see here, right? Again, it has to be run in regular user. Up here, I was the root user, right? So now the Tor browser gonna launch. Here we go. And it's running. So now we got this option here, right? Let me expand this. You have this option, always connect automatically. So you can actually configure the settings, right? Which, in my opinion, it will take some knowledge of what you're doing. I wouldn't recommend you mess with this. It's just as simple as doing this, right? Connect. So now it's connecting to the Tor browser. So again, now we can browse anonymously using the Tor web browser. So now, let me give you an example. Let's go to yahoo.com to see what country we're in. Normally, if you're in the United States and you're not using some sort of proxy or, Tor browser, yada yada. And by the way, that's one thing I was gonna say, that these web pages like yahoo.com, google.com, they actually have some of these IP addresses blacklisted, so that'll actually make it harder for you to use it. But you're not using the Tor browser to go on yahoo.com or google.com. I just wanted to give you guys an example, but let's do this. Let's try espn.com, right? Okay, so I'm trying to show off this V8 muscle, waking everybody up. So anyway, look. So normally, if I was logged in, again, like I said earlier, without a proxy, I'm not using a Tor browser, I would be using the American version of ESPN.com, right? So I would be more introduced to sports like the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball. But as you can see here, our IP address seems to be coming from Africa. So I'm automatically viewing sports that are very popular in Africa, which is literally soccer. Literally, if it's not Europe, literally Europe and Africa, the biggest sports out there seem to be soccer. So that's all I literally see each time I, just to see where my public facing IP address is at. So let me see this. What's my IP Let's see what pops up. What's my IP address? So as you can see here, right? So it's showing me that it's in Africa, right? And normally, it's funny because I use some web pages will kind of cater to the IP address of the location you're in. Again, if you're in Europe, it'll give you Europe what's popular in Europe. You know, it'll give you the news and it'll give you everything in the native language of the country you're in. If you're in France, it'll give you everything in French. If you're in German, it'll give you everything in German, because it's using the public facing IP address of that country. Again, right here, as you can see here, it says Africa, right? ESPN Africa. And this is before I even used this one, which officially showed me where I'm at. It said my IP address is in Africa. I don't know why it changed it to Netherlands, but it was definitely Africa. Let's try the other one. Let's see. What is their IP address? Oh, it's kind of even breaking it down a little bit. Emerald Onion, Washington State. It's kind of weird. Showing Africa. But anyway, so let's forget about that. So now we're going to dive a little bit deep, but not too deep, into the actual usage of the dark web. I definitely, again, this is viewer discretion. If you use this in an illegal way, it's ethically wrong. Ethically, excuse me. And you could get in trouble, right? I would not recommend you use this. Don't use the dark web in an abusive way if it's not for knowledge, because the way that I like to use it is just to try to learn more about what's going down in the hacker underworld, just to try to see if people are dropping exploits, because there's hacking forums and other kinds of forums where people communicate, political wise and this that. I feel like it could be an educational tool. But if you're using it negatively, in other words, where you're offering people your hacking services and et cetera, or downloading stuff that you're not supposed to, that's where you get in trouble. And I'm not recommending you. I recommend you not do that at all, because you can get in trouble for that. So normally, let me see, the Onion router. So normally to find, or I think it's called a wiki if I'm not mistaken. The Onion router wiki. Let me see. Let's see if there's anything here I can just click on. I don't know the URL, the specific URL, and the reason for it, and you're gonna see, is because the URLs themselves are super long. They include every letter in the alphabet, and they're very scattered. It could be like a XXY, capital A, small a, but yada yada yada. It could be 25 characters long, just of this scattered, just random, URL, and you're gonna see that right now. So let's see. Let's see, Tor wiki URL. I think it's this one, the hidden wiki. Here we go. You see? So as you can see here, this is how the URLs of the Tor browsers look like. They always end on .onion. And then obviously you got the root folders here. So let's click on our first one. And again, viewer discretion is advised. It is gonna be a lot of not very good, not a lot of good what's the domains? A lot of like shady stuff. So let's start off from the top. So editors picks, pick a random page from the article and pixel slots. Let me see. Volunteer, introduction to points, financial services, degree machine, forum types, some of the oldest and most experienced vendors around. Get your PayPal's, your credit card number. So again, this here, I wouldn't recommend. PayPal accounts with good balances. Buy some fixer. You see again, it's just the dark side of the internet, pretty much. You know, I'm not gonna go too deep into this because, as you can see, it's starting to get bad. It's starting to show the negative sides of stuff. The torrent site. I remember they took this website down. Let's see if it's still up. The Pirate Bay. If anybody knows, that was used to illegally share copyrighted material. Seems like it's up, and it's right here. It's hidden behind the Onion router. And before, it was actually on the open web page. You could literally go on your web browser without being hidden behind a VPN or some sort of proxy service, and you can go to the piratebay.org and you can download those same torrents. But yeah, I just wanted to show you guys what the Tor browser is and what it's used for. And before I leave, just one quick positive thing is that this could be used positively. Like, it does everything that you do on this website. Doesn't have to be shady. You know, there's a lot of activists on here sharing information in countries that, you know, prohibit it, right? What makes America great is that you actually have the First Amendment right, and you're actually able to speak freely about stuff without getting in trouble. Where in other countries, you can get jailed for months, even years, for speaking against the government, a politician, a religion, etc., etc., right? So a lot of those people who criticize their government or what the government's doing, either towards a people or organization, a company, a lot of people like posting the truth on sites like this, right? Because it's a great way to stay anonymous. The government won't be able to track the user, again, because that's the way that this was intentionally designed to be, a way to anonymously surf the internet without government intervention or without them spying on you and eventually getting you in trouble. So yeah, that's pretty much what I wanted to teach you guys, what the Tor browser is. And again, viewer discretion is advised. Definitely would not recommend you do anything you're not supposed to be doing in it. You know, as hackers or as people in cybersecurity, we want to be, you know, aware of everything that's around, and you know, every stuff like this on the internet. You know what I mean? Because a lot of hackers will eventually hide behind stuff like this, or you could always find interesting information on stuff like this. Alright guys, well thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, share. I got other videos on other stuff. I got command line videos, you know. I got Wi-Fi cracking videos, you know. I'm gonna try to post more videos in the coming days or the coming weeks. It is what it is. Or I'll try to go live a little bit more, and I'll give you guys tutorials on how to program, etc., etc. Alright guys, well thank you. Let me see if I can get it. Let me see. Alright.